I'm Jocelyn Lemi, anak jantan alias jantan, and my matric number is Hpt30103. Today, I will start with our presentation with background of the study. In this current area of globalization, many students are involved with a disease that is said to be emotional stress as known as depression. Such disease has claimed many lives, especially those involving school students, regardless of whether they are high school students or university students. This study was conducted is based on cases of depression that have been increased among teenagers nowadays. Other than that, depression is one of the kind from standard temper fluctuations and short-lived emotional response to challenge in everyday lifestyle, particularly when recurrent and with average of extreme instantly despair may also emerge as a serious fitness condition. It can be purpose the effect man or a woman to go through, especially at failure poorly at work and school and in the family. Next, mental fitness refer to the conjunctive, behavioral, and emotional well-being. It is all about how human being thinks about the thing, feel, and behave. People once in while use the period times that is called mental health to imply the absence of intellectual disorder. In Malaysia, mental illness prevalence increased through the years, and many teenagers have become the victims of mental illness. Other than that, depression is a frequent disease that affects an individual's future potentials to function in lifestyle activities together with those required by means on the workplace. Academic overall performance can be considered as a direct parallel to personal performance, with college students belonging to the special sets of folks whose potential to operate can be measured on a standard utilized through an observer and by using self-report, while the incidence of disappear is this cue is extensive and guidance. Next, we talk about the problem statement in this study. According to research, depression is linked to both cognitive impairment and dementia, and it increases the risk of development dementia. These depressive factors have had various impacts on social, especially on students. Every year, approximately 4.8% of Americans have diagnosis with depressions. The college years are the most common time for first-time depression episodes. Women in the United States experience 21.8% more depression symptoms than men. This condition is influenced not only by biological factors but also by life consumptions and cultural factors. Although these factors apply to men as well, the rates are significantly lower than a woman. Depressions can have a long-term or requiring effects on an individual's ability to function and live as a normal person. In addition, there are other factors that can help people understand depression. Depression among teenagers today is primarily brought on by stress. Numerous events, from the accumulations of little issues to the passing of a loved ones or friends, can result in stress. Eustress and hyperstress can be distinguished by their respective stress level. These levels are included in the disease stress model, which shows that each person has the different vulnerability to the level of stress that lead to the development of stress. Other than that, the influence of social media is also a factor that depression happens among the teenager, especially the student. Social media is a very vital platform for all organizations of people nowadays. It is not longer only used to find about the about anything, but lots of things we can do with the social media. With younger teens and teenagers increasing using social media more and more, the research being performed can lead parents to consider being take a look of their kids' social media use as properly as their own to forestall despair from occurring in the first place. Last but not least, depression also can be happening because of the high use of smartphone, especially among teenagers. The previous studies shows that internet-edited faults can be a threat of physically maladjustment. According to Fu KW, Chance Winchi PwC, and WIP PSF 2010, typically smartphone customer may journey through some stage of nervousness as an end result of being perceived obligations to stay cumulatively linked with others.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Ain Khadijah binti Safar and my matrix number is H2182340. So today I would like to present about research question and research objective. So for our research question, we have 3 questions, which is what is the link between stress and depression? What is the relationship between the influence of social media and depression? What is the relationship between the use of smartphones and depression? As for our research objective, we also prepare 3 objectives, which is to determine the relationship between stress and depression among students, to determine the relationship between the influence of social media and depression among students, and the last one is to determine the relationship between the use of smartphones and depression among students. So for literature review, you can see here, this chapter will go over the studies in the independent and dependent variables, the topics of stress and the influence of social media and smartphones will be discussed first. Following that, the conceptual framework and hypothesis will be employed to further explain the relationship between the independent and dependent variables. The summary will conclude the entire discussion. Dependent variable, which is impact of depression. A variable which can be predicted and explained. Variation in the dependent variable is what a researcher tries to explain. As for definition of depression, depression is a frequent disease that influences an individual's capacity to perform lifestyle activities inclusive of those required by means of the workplace. Academic overall performance can be viewed as a direct parallel to staff performance, with students belonging to a unique set of folks whose capability function can be measured on standards applied by an observer and by means of self-report. For antecedents of depressions, it is discovered that the massive expansion in suicide costs and mental sickness, considering that a decade in the past stems from susceptible intellectual health levels. Therefore, it is necessary for Malaysians to be aware of the significance of consciousness of mental illness, the importance of keeping a true stage of intellectual health, and recognizing the signs and symptoms of intellectual health issues that require intervention and treatment. As for independent variable number 1 is stress. Stress or pressure is a physical, emotional, and mental reaction that a person experiences when demands are not met. Stress can affect anyone, including children, adolescents, adults, and the elderly. In general, a person's stress level varies with the stress load. For independent variable number 2, the influence of social media. Today's teenagers' extreme addiction to social media is seen as a driver for the formation of aggressive behavior attitudes to the point where some are willing to commit suicide. Such actions can occur as a result of being so obsessed, disappointed, or influenced by social media content that they fail to make rational decisions. And for independent variable number 3, smartphone. A smartphone is a cellular phone that includes an integrated computer as well as features not previously associated with telephones, such as an operating system, web browsing, and the ability to run software applications. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Noraj Kevin Kristen and my matrix number is H2182452. Today I want to explain about the hypothesis we use in this case study. So we have three hypotheses. First, there is a connection between stress and depression in University Malaysia Kelantan. Second, the link between the influence of media social and the depression that they will face. Third, the relationship between use of smartphone and depression among students in University Malaysia Kelantan. Next, the summary of this case study. The research is based on the issue that the depression matters. The researcher gives an overview of this study about the factor towards depression matter among the University Malaysia Kelantan. The purpose of this study is to look at the issue depression matter among 150 students in University Malaysia Kelantan. Furthermore, we define the problems and list out the factors of depression.
Now I will present about chapter 3 methodology. Okay, first introduction. This chapter describes the type of analysis. The research methodology used for this report is the target population, sample size, sampling process, data collection, instrument and data analysis were all part of this study. Okay, next is research design. Research design can be seen as the framework of research method and technique that will be chosen by the research itself. Research design can be viewed either in qualitative, quantitative, or a mixture of both. Descriptive research methodology will be used. Okay, next is population and sample. A population is often a group of individuals, creature, plant, or subject to be researched that have specific characteristics. The population for this study is students from University Malaysia Kelantan. Okay, next is sampling technique. Sampling is the process of selecting enough elements from a population. So, that a study of a sample and understanding of its properties or characteristic will enable the generalization of those properties or characteristic to population elements. We will use students of University Malaysia Kelantan as a sample because they have experience about depression in university. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nur Azwa Azra binti Anwar. My metric number is H2182391. My expectation is this study will more or less have a positive impact on society, especially on students. This is said to be so because if students fill in the Google form that has been provided by the reviewer, then they will know the root or reason why there are among students who have depression problems in themselves. In addition, the reviewer expects to hold more programs to stem the problems of tendencies in students. So in my opinion, For the future, the reviewer hopes that this depressive illness can be curbed successfully. Therefore, the reviewer hopes that the responsible parties can run programs that help them reduce the pressure within themselves that causes the depression to increase. Finally, the reviewer also hopes that students will always take care of their own feeling and always meet the counseling or doctor to get treatments. Thank you. In conclusion, this study tells a lot about the depressions faced by students and subsequently has a lot of impact on students in several universities. In this study, the reviewer included several study objectives where it examined the relationship between stress and depression, examined the relationship between social media influence and depression, and finally examined the relationship between smartphone usage and depression. With that, the researcher also provide Google form list to fill in by respondent, where the researcher takes several University Malaysia Kelantan students as respondents. Therefore, the list of questions and the cause of depression can be detected through the answer given by the respondents. Thank you.